this conversation. So it really is very accurate that way. I don't know if I've actually answered your question, but... Okay.
Hi, good evening to everyone. My friend here wants to ask Paul a question, but she's very shy, so I have a question. She wants to know. She wants to know how do you prepare for your different roles? And do you have some kind of ritual, or I don't know?
He sacrifices goats first of all.
After I'm 50, I get paid in goats. No, I don't. I wish I had a method I applied every time. I don't. I never know. It's always, I mean, one of the nice things is, one of the exciting things is to not know where it's going to take me. I mean, you say Viggo does lots of research. For certain things I will have to do something like that, but then sometimes I feel like that kind of research, that'll be too much, and it will be better if I just kind of go with it. I never know what it's going to demand, and then sometimes I'll do something that demands research, and I'll do it just because I'm sort of interested. I played a boxing manager once, and I got so into boxing, and that became just fascinating to me. So I don't ever really know, which is clear from my work, what the hell I'm doing. And I don't, it's always a unique thing every time, and I have to find what feels right, and that kind of thing.
Thank you.
I approach my work like a student. I do a lot of research. So I did a lot of research on Emma Jung. At the time, I was taking a film theory course, and we were studying apparatus theory and psychoanalysis and how it's applied to cinema as a semiotic language. So I was reading a lot of Freudian psychology, and then my father is also a psychologist. So I was really prepared for the film. So that's kind of how I approached The Dangerous Method. And then in Cosmopolis, I just started researching New York socialites from the 50s and from the 30s and 20s, and then I wanted to have a very specific way of speaking. So I worked with a dialect coach. I worked with a dialect coach on both films. On A Dangerous Method, we did a kind of a light neutral British accent, and then I did kind of a New England boarding school twang for Cosmopolis. So I like to approach it from a very self-studied kind of way. And then you have to kind of let it all go and have fun and play on the day and find people and your scene partner.
Paul, I hope you can learn from this.
Sitting here feeling like crap about myself. Jesus Christ, I don't do anything. What the hell do? I show up and eat the free food, sit in my little trailer and let people bring me nice new shoes. And what the hell do? I don't do anything.
I have a lot more time.
I have a lot of time. I don't know what the hell I'm doing with my time. No, it's amazing. I wish I could do that. It's a tricky thing, though. I can overburden myself and things, and I think I need to. It's very impressive, Sarah. Very impressive.
Now, Paul, I heard a rumor that you and Rob Pattinson both independently.
No, that's it. I was actually going to mention that. This was interesting. Not the one thing I did. I thought about the part a little bit before I did it. But I was interested. I watched, again, this was something that I almost more personally was interested in than it was the right thing for the character. But I went on YouTube, which I just think is the most glorious thing in the world, because you can watch any crazy fucking thing on there. And they had some footage of stalkers. I play a stalker in this. audience. And they had some amazing footage of some interesting people in prison talking about their love objects, sort of, and it was fascinating. But one of the things I did, just because I was interested, is I watched a very long interview with a man named Jeffrey Dahmer, who was a cannibal. He killed people and ate them. I was interested in this. And I watched this. It was a long interview with him, and he was fascinating. And when I got to the set and I was mentioning this, it turned out that Robert, for research on his character, had watched the same interview with Jeffrey Dahmer. And it won't mean anything until you see the movie, but there's something kind of fascinating that the two of us were drawn to playing the same character, psychopaths, and there's very much a relationship in the scene I have with him that we are sort of the same person. I want to be him, and in a weird way, he kind of wishes he was me.
And they do eat each other.
And we eat each other. So I'm glad I watched the footage so I knew how to do that just right.
Hi, this is a question for all of you. It's not very deep and it's a bit awkward, but I was interested in knowing, while you guys were growing up, if you had any idols or any inspirations to make you follow movies and making movies.
Paul? Sure, lots of people. I mean, when I was small, you're asking me when I'm a child. When I was a child, I liked very much horror movies. The Wolfman, I wanted to be the Wolfman. The Mummy and things like that. I really want to be a werewolf in a movie someday. Will you do that for me? Maybe. Okay. So those kinds of things I loved as a kid, and I guess if I had any, I liked Alec Guinness very much. Even when I was a little boy, I thought he was very funny in things that I would see, and just loved him, and loved how normal and insane he seemed at the same time. So I guess that kind of person.
Well, I'm a cinephile, so I love watching movies, and I've always watched movies from the time I was a young kid. I used to watch a lot of classics with my parents, and when I was a teenager, I got really into Italian neorealism, and I just love the idea of taking the camera onto the streets and shooting reality and getting to the humanity of situations and people, and I think that that's what I love so much about cinema.
I was very small, perhaps the age of 5. I saw my first film, which I believe was a Charlie Chaplin film, and I still love Charlie Chaplin.
Because I'm extremely old, and my first movie experiences are probably at the dawn of cinema. I was the first that I really thought of film as actually an art form. It came in the 1950s and the early 60s with what used to be called the art film, which you could actually make money making art films in those days. And so it was all the classic guys like Fellini and Bergman and Truffaut and Kurosawa, Antonioni, Godard. Actually, I was very excited to hear that, Paolo, you were doing an interview with Jean-Luc Godard, and your son told me that he actually mentioned one of my movies, and I was extremely excited because I had no idea that he would even know that I existed, and you know how that is. And then, so that those were my inspirations, really. People that directors who I thought were could make cinema that was art as well as being entertaining.
I believed every word of that.
Okay. This is a complete lie. We need to eat now. You know, you're hungry, aren't you?